So our first speaker is Jemmy, and I've lost my appendix before, but I did it at home in the comfort of my, well, it went bad in the comfort of my apartment. They took it out in the hospital, but it sure as heck was not overseas in Paris, and that is what our first talk is about. Now you clap. Ready?
I'm ready.
You're on.
All right, well, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, so as Eric was saying, I'm going to tell you about how the trip of a lifetime actually gave me a really good learning lesson for podcasting, believe it or not. It was the summer of 2000, and I was headed for my first time in Europe to study abroad. I had to work really, really hard to get there, but I didn't feel so good while I was there. I thought I had food poisoning, but I had appendicitis. So within a couple of days, I had to have surgery, and it didn't turn out so well. I woke up kind of looking like this. Not quite, I'm actually pregnant there, but almost. They didn't deflate my belly, which they had filled with CO2 for the surgery. So I woke up in a lot of pain. And unfortunately, the hospital staff wasn't listening to me. I was like, I'm in a lot of pain. They said, we don't care. I can't breathe. We don't care. And after about a week of this, I thought, this is enough. I'm going to check myself out of the hospital, and decided I'm just going to go home. Unfortunately, I couldn't go home because the airlines were on strike. So I ended up stuck in a hotel for a whole nother week. And every day, I found it harder and harder for me to breathe. I finally managed to get a flight home, went straight to my doctor's office. She took a chest x-ray. Her eyes nearly fell out of her head. She said, I can't believe you even survived the flight. She immediately put me in an ambulance and sent me straight to another emergency room, another hospital. So I spent the next several weeks, it turns out my lung had been collapsed now for 2 weeks. A week in the hospital and a week in the hotel. So I had to have several, it led to permanent damage, by the way, in spine. So I had to spend several months full of physical therapy, being poked and prodded by doctors. It was not exactly what I would call fun. And so my dreams were pretty much shattered. Not only did I feel like I was physically broken, but my aspirations of becoming a singer, done. My career as an EMT, done. So it kind of sucked, guys. So after about 10 years, I finally was cleared to start exercising again. So I thought, I'm gonna battle back. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna work out and I'm gonna make my lungs stronger, and it worked. I even started singing again, it was pretty cool. And I thought, I'm not just gonna battle back physically, I'm gonna battle back emotionally and mentally as well. So I decided to put in front of myself a big challenge. And I decided to go for a triathlon. And I actually managed to compete and complete my first triathlon in 2011. It was my only triathlon, but thank you. So I took that learning lesson forward through life. I had a career as a data analyst. I fell out of love with it. I decided to evolve. I started my own marketing company so I could be creative again. And doing so, I discovered my outer voice. I discovered podcasting. And I fell in love with it because what I realized, now I had an inner voice kind of story, right? But now I knew how to use my outer voice to project that, and how to inspire others to, get over their own qualms in life. So, in other words, embrace life's evolution. Not just expect the unexpected, embrace it. Turn all of those things that happen to fly at you from left and right into new opportunities. So what does this have to do with podcasting? How many of you have said, I have a new podcast, it's awesome? And the person says back, what's a podcast? Or say you'll never get anywhere, or you make a mistake like misspell excited in front of hundreds of people. So things happen, keep telling your story anyway. You might think, I don't have enough money, I need equipment. Guess what, guys? I started with a $60 recorder from Best Buy. It can happen. Start podcasting anyway. It really doesn't take much. You might experience equipment failures. You might experience that guest that you've been looking forward to for months suddenly cancels on you. Turn all those stumbling blocks into stepping stones of opportunity. Learn to evolve. So that turns into, sometimes your evolution is forced. You might have a co-host who suddenly has to drop out. Your evolution might be sparks. You have a great idea. Embrace it. Be bold and be brave. Evolve. I ended up deciding a few months ago to completely reformat my show, Curve the Cube, and now it's better than ever. I had to make a tough decision to put my other show on an 8-month hiatus. 8 months, guys. It's now better than ever. So you might have an idea in your head of what your podcast or what your podcasting life is gonna be, should be, could be, would be. Learn to be flexible when those changes happen, whether forced upon you or otherwise. Go with the flow, just keep swimming. That's my presentation today. Guys, I want to mention one more thing. The most important page in your program is page 10. Turn there and you'll find out why. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.